Good morning. This morning I was trying to go for my phone, so now I'm learning that you have to push a few extra buttons. So good morning, good morning. It's 8 o'clock on Wednesday, and I'm changing up locations today, moving around the house. So today is the Distance with Atlanta Track Club. This is your hub for resources that you need to stay healthy and active while we are all social distancing. And right now we're kicking off week 2. You can join me every Wednesday at 8 a.m. for some core strength. I'm Amy Begley. I'm 2008 Olympian. I coach Atlanta Track Club's Elite and the in-training programs. I've been here for about 5 years, and I believe that core not only makes you less injury prone, but it also gives you better posture. And what is the core? Last week I told you it was all the muscles from your shoulders to your hips, which is true. And what it does is it helps with stabilizing overall coordination, and it keeps our posture aligned. The less energy we have to spend working on our core, the more energy we can spend running faster. And so that's what we're all about on Wednesday mornings. Okay? So today we're going to do some exercises that I've done, exercises that the Olympic development team does. We're going to spend about 5 minutes warming up. We're going to do about 20 plus minutes of exercises and cooling down. What I want you to know is you need to stay in your range of motion that does not cause pain. If you're having pain, you need to scale it back. So that's why I'm going to give you modifications for every exercise that we do, and you should try whichever one doesn't cause pain. Each week I'm going to be adding new things, and each week the goal will be trying to do different and increased modifications of what you're doing. All right? So we're going to start with some leg swings for warm-up. Right? We're just going to try to loosen up those hips this morning because you probably haven't been up and doing a lot, and that's totally fine. So let's do some leg swings. Let's get warmed up. Good morning, good morning. Hi, Craig, and TJ, and Christy. Omar, good morning. Welcome, welcome. We are getting this Wednesday kicked off today. And I didn't mean that to be a pun, but we're going to start it that way anyways. All right, so we did leg swings. Now we're going to do some hip circles. Because again, we want to loosen up all the muscles as we go around. And I don't know about you, but when you wake up, definitely some mornings you're a little tighter than others. All right, Dana and Adrian, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. Go both directions with these hips, round and round. Now we're going to do side bends. A lot of people do not bend to the side anymore. So usually I hear moans and groans, but since I'm here by myself, I will just tell you that I'm always sore doing these. All right, next, we're going to work the hip flexors. So that means this leg is back, that arm goes straight up, and we're going to push through that hip. And we're just going to stretch that out a little bit this morning. We're going to switch and do the other side. Again, the front leg is bent, kind of like a lunge. This back leg is straight, and we're going to push through. And we're going to do that one more time on each side. Again, the back leg is straight, that arm is straight up. And push through. You should feel that in the front of your hip. And switch. Alright, let's also do some arm circles as well, because we don't just do normal sit-ups here. We do some planking, we do some other things, so we also need to get our shoulders warmed up, because we will do some of that today. Alright, now we're going to head down to the mat. We're going to stretch our back out a little bit. So we want to go down on our knees, we want to sit back, I want to go nice and forward. And you can pull those arms out and really stretch out that lower back. And let's stretch to each side as best you can. Stretch to the other side. All right, and we're going to stay down on our mat for a little while. So if you want to add a little extra variability and less stability to your core, I do mine barefoot. However, if you want want to keep some stability and a lot more base, then keep your shoes on. So we're going to start with some planking. And the thing I want you to realize is that with planking, we need to make sure we do this correctly. If you cannot maintain a straight line while we're planking, then you need to do it for a little less time. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and hold it for 30 seconds. But if you start feeling your hips going down, or if you have to pull them up, then I would like you to do just 10 seconds of holding it, 10 seconds of rest, and 10 seconds of holding it, because we want to make sure we do it with correct form and posture. Otherwise, we're going to end up hurting our back. So a modification for this one, if you cannot hold a plank, then it's totally fine. You can start with your knees down and your feet up. So just start with this version of the plank. Eventually we can move up to being on our toes. We want our shoulders over our elbows when we do this. Right. So I'll go this way so you can see me on this side. All right, so again, modification. You can start here on your knees and feet up, or we can start here, and we're gonna go for 30 seconds, and I'm gonna count us down. But remember, if you start feeling your hips going up or your hips coming down, we need to just hold it for 10 seconds. All right, we're gonna start in 2, 1, go for 30 seconds. Again, I'm gonna count it out. If you feel your hips going up or down, either go to your knees, there's 10 seconds, or we need to drop down and wait until the next 10 seconds. All right, been here for 20, so go back up if you had to come down. We have about 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Nice, come down to your knees. Excellent. All right, this next one is called the supine plank, which means we're gonna be on our back. Now this one is definitely harder on the glutes and the hamstrings. So if you have any type of hamstring or glute issue, I would rather you just do the prone plank that we just did for 20 seconds. If you want to try the supine plank, that's great. But again, if you have any hamstring or glute issues, this one is a little bit harder. So I would prefer that you stay with the other plank. So a modification for this one would be both feet on the ground and just holding your hips up. So that's the modification. The supine plank itself is actually going to be, I'll flip around this way. It's actually going to be up on your heels, toes pointed up, with the elbows underneath the shoulders, and we're going to hold the hips up. Again, we're going to go for 20 seconds. This one is much harder than the prone plank, so that's why we're only going for 20 seconds. But if you find yourself coming up or down, then let's just hold it for 10 seconds, rest for 5 seconds, and we'll try to hold it for 5 more seconds. But again, do the modification with the feet down if you just need to hold it like this. All right, we're going to go in about 2 seconds, and go. We're going to hold it for 20 seconds. Remember to push up through the hips. All right, that's been 10 seconds, so come down for 5 if you need to hold it. All right, your last 5 seconds. Go back up if you need to. And done. Did you feel that in your hamstrings or your glutes? This is definitely not the easiest one to hold. Good morning, Susan and Adrian. That one's a little bit more advanced, so again, if you couldn't hold that one, the prone plank is the one that'd be better for you to hold. All right, now we're gonna move on to what people would consider more of a core strength workout, and that's the flutter kicks. So with this one, there's a couple different variations you can do. What we wanna do is we wanna have the shoulders off the ground and the feet off the ground, and we're just gonna flutter kick. And we're gonna go 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, and we're gonna do that 2 times. Different modifications. You could leave your shoulders down and just kick your feet. You could put the feet on the floor and just kick like this. You could also do this with your shoulders up and your feet coming down to the floor. Whichever one is best for your back, that's the one that you should do, because you want to stay in your own range of motion and what doesn't cause pain for you. So again, we're going to go 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, and we're going to do that 2 times. Right, so we are going to go in 3 seconds. Pick whichever modification and go. So we're going to 20 seconds. you're about halfway on the first one, you can do small kicks or you can do larger ones, depending on what helps. All right, we got 2, 1. Rest for 20 seconds. So on Wednesdays, when you come and join me, this will not be your normal core routine. We're gonna mix it up because again, the core muscles are from the shoulders to the hips, and we have the front and the back to deal with. And we're gonna go again in 2 seconds. And go, 20 seconds. Remember, whichever modification works for you, that's the one we're doing today. And we're halfway. All right, and 3, 2, 1, and 20 seconds. Nice. So I'm running through a couple different things today. For this variation, you could do this a couple times a week. You could do different sets of each one of these exercises, but I just want to show you different exercises that you can do. Next, we're going to do back hypers, and there's different variations for this one as well. So we don't want to just work the front, we don't want to just work the abs, we also have to work the back so we don't have an imbalance. So back hypers, work the lower back. We also want to squeeze the glutes when you do these. So we're going to go down, and you can do different variations depending on what your back will allow you to do. You can have arms out, feet out. You can bring the shoulders up and feet up at the same time. You can also just do the legs. You could just do the arms. If bringing both of those up at the same time is not easy, you can also do alternating back hypers to take a little bit of the strain off. So that's going to be lifting opposite arm, opposite leg. So we'll lift the right and the left, and the right and the left. And no matter which one you do, when you come up, you want to make sure to squeeze the glutes at the top. So this is not a fast motion. We're going to do these nice, slow, and controlled, because the plank is not, the core work is not always about the fast movements. It's about getting the right movements done. Okay? So we're going to do 10. We're going to take a break, and we're going to do 10 more. So we're going to do 2 sets of 10. And go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure to squeeze. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take a break if you need to stretch your back. Come down and stretch your back. You can go to each side as well. All right, another set of 10. Remember, do whichever variation works for you. So 1, 2, squeeze at the top, 3, 4, 5, halfway, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Stretch your back out if you need to. Again, you can stretch going each direction. All right, we're gonna roll back over. So now we're gonna do some bicycle abs. And some people like to do these very fast. I prefer the slower Pilates style abs. All right. So we're gonna come all the way down. The hard way to do it will be to keep the feet up and go opposite arm, opposite elbow. Really pausing at each side. A variation would be to keep the knees on the floor. Bring opposite knee to opposite elbow. So you can do 2 different types. You can also do the bicycle abs keeping the feet on the floor. So there's 3 different options that you can have today. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a set of 20, nice and slow and controlled. If you need to take a break in the middle, take a break. So we're going to do 20. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Really make sure to engage the abs. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take a break if you need to. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, 20 bicycle abs, great job. Adrian, it's afternoon where you're at. Yes, it is. All right, so next we're gonna do the plank arm press-ups. I'll be honest, these are not my favorite, but they're good for you to work on your shoulder strength anyways. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be down in a plank. Again, if you cannot hold a plank, that's totally fine. Come down to your knees and put your feet in the air. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start in a plank, and we're gonna push ourselves up, and we're gonna come back down. And we're gonna do that 10 times. But again, if you need to be up here, that's totally fine as well. All right, so we're gonna come up 10 times. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. We're gonna try not to rock our hips as much when we do this. So when I get to 5, I switch and I have the other hand come up first. And there should be 8, 9, and 10. Sometimes you have to do exercises that are not your favorites. All right. The next one. Every time I have the athletes choose what exercise they want, Abe Alvarado chooses this one. It's called the Jackknife, and I'll give you a couple different modifications for this one as well. So we're going to start with our hands above our heads, our feet below. Good morning, Jenny. So we're going to bring our hands and our feet up together. Variations of this, you could bring one leg at a time, which is more of a split crunch. Arms and legs. Arm and one leg, and you switch legs. Right? If that one gives you trouble, you can also just keep the feet in the air and bring the hands as close to those as possible. Right? So whichever variation is going to work for you today, that's the one that you need to do. And each week you can try different ones, but let's make sure that we keep our back and everything else safe today. So let's just try 10 in whichever variation you like the best. So we're going to count with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Did you try different variations? If you did, next week let's look and see which ones feel better. If you have more flexibility, you can keep your legs off the ground. Each week we'll try different variations. This next one, we're gonna go, it's called the Windshield Wipers. And if I give athletes a choice, Wilkerson Given usually picks this one as the one that he does. There's a couple variations. I'm gonna show you in both views how to do this one. So the modification of this one would be laying down with your arms out straight, and we're just rocking the knees to each side. Right, that's the modification. That's the first step. The other step is doing the windshield wipers, which is keeping your feet in the air and bringing those side to side. So try to rotate the legs either direction. Right? And we're just going to do 10 of these, so 5 in each direction. Again, the first one will be just rocking the knees back and forth. The second one will be bringing the legs to either side. We're going to try to keep our shoulders on the ground for this one. Okay. And we're going to bring the legs over to one side. There's 1 and 2. Back up. 3. Back up. 4 and 5. If you need to take a break, but take a break after 6 so that you're even. 6, 7. If you need to go down to the ground, go down to the ground. 8, 2 more. 9 and 10. Great job. All right, this next one is called the bird dog, and there's a couple different variations for this one. And I actually just found a more advanced version the other day that I was kind of excited. I'd never seen before. As you can tell, I've been looking for some really different fun ones to do. But the bird dog is going to be here on your hands and knees. Your knees want to be about hip length apart. You want your hands underneath your shoulders. And if you've been to yoga or Pilates, you know that they usually do cat-cow, where you're bringing your shoulders up, shoulders down, midsection in and out. Well, for the bird dog, what we want to do is we want to keep our core engaged, we want to keep it tight, we want to keep a nice flat back. And right now, what we're going to do is opposite arm, opposite leg. If you cannot hold opposite arm, opposite leg, that's totally fine. You can just bring an arm out, you can bring a leg out. The goal would be to do opposite arm, opposite leg. And right now we're just going to do 5 on each side, and then I'll show you a new variation that I just learned this week that I thought was fun. So we're going to do 5 on each side, keep a nice engaged core, flat back, head down. So opposite arm, opposite leg, reach, really squeeze those glutes, trying to keep the hips nice and flat. So 2, 3, 4, 5. If you need to move to modification, move to modification. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. A new modification that I found this past week, which I thought was kind of fun. So you do opposite arm, opposite leg, but then you try to draw a square with the arm and the foot. If you can't do that, then we'll just try to do a square with the arm. But we're going to try a square on each side. We're going to do that twice. So we're going to do opposite arm, opposite leg. We're going to try and draw a square. Opposite arm, opposite leg. And what I found, if you have the arm and the leg do the same thing, it's a little bit easier. So we'll do opposite arm, opposite leg, and I drop them down, move them over, pick it up, move it over. And that way, I try to have the arm and the leg do the exact same thing, keep the core engaged, and back flat. You didn't know I was going to add some art today, did you? So there's the bird dog. If you've been doing that for a long time and that's really easy, try the modification. The next one we're going to do is we're going to do another set of hypers. Since we've been working some of our core, we'll do a set of 10 hypers as well. So remember, the back hypers is the modification of opposite arm, opposite leg, bringing the shoulders off, the feet off, or just bringing the shoulders, or just bringing the legs. All right, so we're going to do 10, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great job. All right. So we're going to do 2 more that I think are more fun than the other ones. And they're called the lateral planks. And this is going to work our sides. So lateral planks, there's a couple ways to do this one. The lateral plank is being on our side. We have the shoulder above the elbow, 90 degrees. And we're going to lift those hips up. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold 30 seconds on each side. Now, if you can't hold it up, which means keeping a nice straight line, if your hips start to drop, then we need to take a break. Or you can bend those knees and you can come up on the knees and try to push through. Right? So either way, we want to make sure that the hip is pushing up. We have a nice straight line. So we're going to try to do 30 seconds on each side. And whichever way you need to do. If you can keep your hip up, but you're having trouble with balance, you can also put one of the feet in front of the other instead of having it stacked. Right? Again, if you have shoulder issues, then take a break. You can go 10, 10, and 10. We're going to try for 30 seconds on each side. And we're going to go in just a few seconds. And go for 30. If you want to add a little bit harder variation, you can bring the arm up. You could also hold the leg up, or you could do leg raises. Whichever way you want to do is totally fine. All right. So for 10 seconds, take a break. All right, so we have about 10 more seconds. another thing you need to work on if you find one side is better than the other. We're gonna go in 2, 1, 30 seconds. Again, if you need to go down to your knees, go down to your knees. If you wanna hold it up, you can totally do that. So we are at 10 seconds. So if you need to drop it down, drop it down. We are at 20 seconds. Come back up for those 5 if you had to drop it down. 3, 2, 1. Great job. The last one is just for fun. It's the lateral handstands. This one is just kind of fun to see. Hey, we're going to check our balance and check our shoulder and our side strength. So we're going to go up on our hand. And you want to hold a lateral handstand. When I was growing up, Alan Webb was on the front of a magazine, and we used to call this the Webb because he was like this on the cover. But the variations for this again would be going to our knees, coming up, and holding this. All right. The other way to do the lateral handstand, if you need more balance, is put one foot in front of the other. All right. Again, trying to have a nice straight line. We don't want the hips up, and we don't want them sagging down. And we're just going to try and hold it for 20 seconds. All right. I'm going to give you about 5 seconds. You need to grab a drink before we're almost done. All right, go for 20. If you can only hold it for 10, that's totally fine. You can also try and hold the leg all the way up. Or you can put the leg in front of you, whichever one. 5 more seconds. And down. Spin it around, try the other side. Again, we're going to hold it for 20 seconds. When your watch is on one side, makes it harder to do, so I'm going to flip it like this. All right, so we're in 4 seconds, we'll go for 20 seconds. 2, 1, and go. Remember to keep those hips pushed all the way up. We want a nice straight line from the head to the toes. About 10 seconds. If you need extra balance, put one foot in front of the other. All right, 3, 2, 1. Side blink is done. All right, so that was a nice variation of core exercises that you could do. You could go back through this video later and you could do multiple sets of different ones that you like, trying all the different modifications that I showed you. But now we're gonna do some cool down stretches before we're done. We need to stretch our back. So again, we'll go into this nice back stretch with the feet about shoulder width apart. If you have any questions, let me know. So we're gonna reach out, really reach out, pull those arms forward. Really stretch out that lower back, pushing those hips back. Great job. All right, come to the other side, one side to the other. I usually say whichever is your favorite side, go to that side first. And roll to the other side. All right, now we're gonna come out flat. And we're gonna push up. Keeping our feet together. Pushing up through the chest. And come back down. Roll back up. And you can always push back on the hips as well. And last stretch we're going to do. Thanks, Adrian. Have a great day. All right, next we're going to do hip flexor stretches. So we're going to do this one on the ground instead. We're going to push through our hips, raise that hand, really get that stretched out. If you want to add an extra stretch, you can lean over that bent leg a little bit. And back. And let's stretch the other one. We're going to lunge forward, arm up. Really reach through that hip flexor. Hip flexor is definitely one that people do not stretch enough. And reach on through. All right, if you feel like you need more stretches, keep doing those. But I want to thank you guys for joining us. If you have any questions, please let me know. But it was really great seeing everyone. And Susan and Jenny and Adrian. Adrian's probably taken off. But tomorrow, 8 a.m., tune in to see 2016 Olympian Rob Mullet. He's going to take you guys through some dynamic drills. And dynamic drills are going to make you a more efficient runner. There's going to be other 8 a.m. classes. So Monday, you have strength with Natalie. Tuesdays, play out with Justin. Wednesday, come back and see me for core. Thursday, see Rob for drills. Friday, Jenny's doing body blaster. And also Friday at noon, we have lunch and learns with Alyssa Palladino. You can stay up to date on the distance by following Atlanta Track Club on social distancing. We post weekly content to keep you up to date, keep you safe and healthy. And Carol, thanks. And Albert, is there an upper limit to the time and set or reps? In other words, or set or reps beyond which time is wasted? It's going to actually be about how sore you are the next day. So you can definitely overdo the abs, you can overdo the back. So you want to make sure you start slow and make sure that you don't hurt something. That is going to tell you where your limit is. So just start slow, do maybe one set of each of these, and the next time maybe add a few more reps in between, and or you can do 2 sets of each one. But really, if you're sore the next day, you need to make sure to tone it down. I would say really no more than 30 to 40 minutes of a core workout, unless you're adding other things like push-ups and things like that. But you want to make sure that you work the front and the back fairly evenly. All right, Terry and Dana, thanks. Christy, thanks. Omar, you have a wonderful day as well. And Craig, nice. Susan, thank you. TJ, Alyssa, you guys have a great day. And make sure to tune in again tomorrow at 8 a.m. because Rob is going to help you become a more efficient runner. And I even sent his video last week to my athletes as a reminder on what they need to be doing correctly. So thanks again, everyone, and we will see you back here at 8 a.m. next Wednesday. Thanks so much. Have a great day.